so close to the end of revisions for Project Katabasis. This is round 4 of revisions. It's been going really well. The spreadsheet that I made in my last video has helped so much in terms of organizing me and keeping my vision for what needs to happen and what I want it to look like straight and clear in my mind. My knees hurt. I think I have carpal tunnel. I'm falling apart. So I'm gonna just sit down here. I've been going through each column of my spreadsheet and kind of ticking it off. So the longest period of time, it took almost 3 weeks, I think, for me to do the first column, which was putting more time into developing one of my main POV characters. And in doing that, I ended up adding almost 10,000 words. Cumulatively, the draft is sitting at just over 104,000 words. I mean, I think that that's good. I tend to be an underwriter, and so the process of revision for me is a lot of rewriting. It's very iterative. So overall, I'm feeling really good about that. But the area that I'm working on today is going to be almost a total rewrite. I'm still hitting on the same emotions, the same kind of primary things need to happen, but I made a change as part of one of the characters' arcs, which means that one of my characters no longer has a tongue. It was cut out. And so now in this next scene, there needs to be like a bunch of communication, but the character doesn't have a tongue to talk with. So I have to, be a little bit more creative, and I'm finding actually that to be a really interesting challenge, but like a really big challenge. So that is gonna take a little bit of thinking on my part. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I really didn't do a whole lot of writing. For me, I feel like a lot of writing is actually not writing. It is thinking about what I want to write and then transcribing the decisions or whatever I've made. I wasn't as productive as I want to be, and I guess some days are just like that. But I did have some time to kind of clarify what I want to do. And so hopefully tomorrow that will be a little bit easier. Hello, good morning. It's actually not morning anymore, it is the afternoon. And last night I got really taken with the idea of making a bad day dress. So I have this very beautiful fabric, and I just want to have a dress that is a really nice fabric. It's like loose and flowy. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I can put it on and it makes me feel a little bit happier. And so I was up very late last night starting to make that, and got very taken with the idea of working on it early this morning. Yeah, there's been a lot of procrastination that has gone on, and sometimes I feel like a bit of creative procrastination is really fruitful because it can give that writing facet of my brain a little bit of a rest, and I like work on things passively. And when I come to it the next day, we already have ideas on how to solve the problem, but that was not the case. So we're gonna leave the house again because I cannot stop doing crafts. Hopefully we just need to actually dedicate our minds for a few more hours to figure out this scene, and let's get started. We're gonna go to a different cafe today as well. Wind blown, a little rained on, but it's actually really nice weather, especially when you're trying to write something that is spooky and emotional and dark, which is what I was attempting to do. But I'm feeling really good about the progress that I made today. I think that sometimes you can wait for inspiration, but especially in the phase that I'm in the revision phase, there's so much problem solving that had to be done that it was really a matter of me sitting down and just forcing myself to brainstorm and come up with ideas, even if my ideas kind of suck. And then by, the second, third, or fourth time, I'll figure it out. So I wrote 300 words of an actual scene. And then I wrote then I wrote about an additional 800 words of verbal vomit and verbal diarrhea. Just trying to work all of that stuff out. I just sat down and like forced myself to type. That helped a lot. There's still a lot of work to be done. Today is a Friday. This weekend, even though we're busy, I'm going to try and sit down and at least block out one of these scenes, because one scene that I was working on today basically turned into 3 or 4 POV switches. That's the plan, but we will see what actually ends up happening.
I think we might be here for a little while.
Hello, good morning, happy Monday. I feel refreshed. I didn't do any work on the weekend, but I am looking forward to getting started today because I had sort of in the middle of the night insights, ideas, and I'm hoping that they will actually be useful. This happens to me sometimes where I will wake up in the middle of like falling asleep with this sudden burst of ideas, and I quickly type them out on my phone for myself later, and then I look back at what I have written and it makes no sense, or it's, obvious that I was half asleep. For example, one of the main things that I was having a hard time with this particular scene that I was working on is setting. Many of my different scenes at the moment in this book are taking place either in a spooky forest or in like a gothic Victorian mansion. Because this is a very climactic scene, I want every level of tension to be there and for like every level of potential conflict, and I just feel like doing another scene in a forest, it's not that exciting. Like we've kind of been there and done that by this point in the book, and I wanted a little bit more depth there. So last night I wrote Cody caves under the rock, cropping. Caves in a crypt. Caves in a mine and a crypt under the sea. I don't know what under the sea means or like how that is relevant, but maybe we can go underground. Maybe that would be symbolic. I don't know. Also, other update. I made a toile, or a wearable toile, a practice garment for my bad day dress, which I love the cut of this dress, even if the fabric is I'm not so precious about. It was really cheap gingham. I don't usually wear gingham. I'm not really a cottage core girl. I kind of err on cranky glampire when I'm making or shopping for clothes, but this actually brings me a lot of joy. Wearing our new dress, we're gonna go to the library to do some work. So the weather was completely lovely, so I walked home. It took like 2 hours because I accidentally took the scenic route, and I think I burnt the top of my feet, but it was so beautiful. It was completely worth it. I feel like I was just super productive, which doesn't really show in terms of my word count. Yeah, so today I wrote about 300 words. It was mostly going back and actually adding a bit of foreshadowing, and then I ended up deleting about 3,000 words because I am gonna just completely rewrite this whole scene. Having written it wrong was important for me to figure out how I needed to write it right. Like I feel almost like the story and the characters exist and I am the one that is discovering it as I'm trying to write. And maybe that's what people mean when they say that they're a discovery writer, because I think of myself as a pretty heavy plotter. I just always go off the rails and I don't follow the plot that I originally draw out or even first write. But yeah, it feels like playing charades with my characters. Like I keep throwing guesses at it until I finally figure out what it is, and then it's like, I get what we were trying to do with that scene back there. That was foreshadowing for this scene. Now I do know. And I feel good about that. But I have honestly the most hysterical story to tell you guys. So I was trying to concentrate and like make the most of my time that I had today. And then this guy sits on the outside of the cafe, and in the like library lobby, he's actively like making his food while he's sitting there. But he brought like 3 or 4 tortillas and a wheel of brie cheese and a like 1 liter tub of hummus. Oh, and Tabasco sauce. Bizarre to me, like very strange meal. But what he would do is like he was ripping off chunks of the brie cheese with his hands. And it was a whole wheel of brie. It was like a good amount of cheese. He was ripping pieces off, wrapping it up in tortilla, putting his Tabasco sauce on it and then dipping it into the hummus, like up to his wrist. Like, whatever. It was a little crazy. I don't know, maybe it's a character material for a book one day. I have no idea. That is not my idea of a good lunch. I'm gonna go eat some cold pizza now. Hello there. So I did some writing yesterday and today, and I didn't really check in or talk about it because I just didn't really have anything to say. It was just sitting there writing, but I finished the scenes that I wanted to finish, and I'm sitting at about 3,500 words for that. So it's like around 500 words more than what it was before. I feel a lot better about it. I'll probably need to take another look at it before I actually kind of close the book on this draft. And because it was a sort of climactic scene, I think it definitely needed a bit of that time to really think about what I was doing in it and like make sure that it was actually satisfying. I did not intend to make the whole vlog about me working through this like 1 or 2 scenes, but you know what, that's how it works out sometimes, and that's fine. You're seeing a realistic week of me trying to edit my book. I have now finished that column in my little organizational beat sheet for edits, and that means that I'm almost done this round of revisions. Next, I'm gonna probably be looking at the B plot, which is like a friendship development thing, and I know I need to add like a couple of scenes. So I'm expecting the novel to end up being around probably just under 110,000 words, because I'm sitting at 105 at the moment, which is, I know, a little bit more than is probably ideal, but I think that's the word count that I need to tell the story that I'm telling. And right now I'm just trying to make the story better. I'm not worried about cutting. Once that's done, I'm gonna let it rest. I really don't want to do any more revisions on this book. I kind of dedicated almost the whole year to finishing it and revising it and just making it the best that it can be. And I think at this point I'm pretty happy with where things are sitting. So I'm probably going to pass it off to beta readers in like the new year or December and start something new. I have a 100 different ideas that are in my head, but there's like one that I'm really excited for. I even got a book that is my little bit of research for the next project that I'm going to be working on. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm quite excited, but I need to find the main character's name first before I can start drafting it. But if there is anything that you would like to see in terms of writing content or that you want me to talk about or show you in these writing vlogs, I mean, I'm not a professional. I don't really know what I'm doing, but let me know in the comments. I would be really happy for some inspiration. And yeah, that is pretty much me wrapping up this video. As you may have noticed, I made the dress. I probably could have gotten a lot more work done on my book had I done less sewing this week, but this was a pretty quick sew and I'm just so happy about it. And I think that having additional creative inputs and outputs actually really helps me keep the creative well full, which is so important when I'm doing something like revision, because I know I can draft really fast and I don't tend to get burnt out very easily when I'm fast drafting, but revision is marathon, right? It takes so long every time. It's always a 2 or 3 month process for me every time I want to go through my book, and this is round 4. Calling this a bad day dress is a total misnomer because it is such a good day. Every day I put on this dress is going to be such a good day. I'm really happy with it. Obviously, because I am showing off to YouTube. But thank you for watching the video. If you want to tell me about the kind of writing content that you would be interested in seeing in the future, and or you want to tell me about how you keep your creative well full, let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far in the video. I hope you have a very lovely, fabulous day, and very good luck to you on any of your creative projects. Bye!